Here we go. Right, the kettle's on. Hola, bom dia, Portugal. It's the Good Morning Portugal podcast, and today we're talking about coffee.
Well, I think I better take it from here, sleepyhead. And we are indeed talking about cafe or coffee here on the Good Morning Portugal podcast this very morning. First, I should say the great thing about coffee in Portugal is it's available just about everywhere. The quality is great. And it's incredible value too, at pretty much €1 or less wherever you go. You're never more than about, I would say, 50 metres from a coffee shop or a coffee machine here in Portugal. So let's start with a bit of Portuguese coffee bingo. And I've got 15 types of coffee here that you might like to try. And I think I'll probably put this bingo sheet up in association with Portuguese coffee, although they don't know anything about it at the moment. But I hope they'll be glad that I'm talking about their 15 types of coffee that you can try. They say on their website, the Portuguese usually drink espresso, but you can order a Portuguese coffee in many different ways. So you can drink your coffee. Here's how to order a coffee in Portugal and in Portuguese language. So the first and foremost, and it starts with the espresso, which when I mentioned it or posted up in the Pure Portugal group this morning, somebody said they'd never heard a Portuguese person ask for an espresso. But let's just go with an espresso, spelled E-espresso. And isn't it annoying when people say, can I have an espresso, please? It's pronounced espresso. And let's go with it as the international unit of coffee, right? The single shot of coffee, espresso. Okay, so in the black coffee row here on my bingo card, you can have a curto, which looks like a pretty strong espresso to me, with a really big crema on it. The slightly bigger cheio, which my friend Michael drinks, the cheio, which is it's a bit of a crema on it and more water. Okay, so not as much as an Americano, but you get it in a espresso-sized cup, but with a little bit more water, like a long espresso. Then there's a duplo, which I'm guessing is a double espresso shot, and then there is the abatonado, and I think that's probably got cold water. So that's for people, I mean, everybody's in a hurry, right, when they're drinking coffee. People stand up and drink coffee at the bar in Portugal. They're out as soon as they're in, pretty much, and they'll be in and they'll say, queria café, faz favor, or por favor, and they will get their coffee. Boom, gone. Just slam the money down on the top. And probably the abatonado is for somebody who's in a really hyper hurry, and there's it looks to me like there's a dash of cold water. So moving into coffees with milk, there's the pingado, I would say, with a little bit of milk on the top. Then there's the garoto, which is it's a small cup, but mainly milk with the floating shot, the opposite to a pingado, possibly. Then there is my favourite, mer de leite, which if you heard yesterday's podcast episode, you will have heard me struggling to order one in a cafe. And really, I mean, I'm saying mer de leite, and I'm thinking people must understand that. And then people say, look at me quizzically, you mean mer de leite? Yes, I just said mer de leite. Anyway, that saga continues. Then there's the cappuccino, which perhaps Portuguese coffee, trying to sneak into the mix here. I think the only people who order cappuccinos in Portugal are people who've developed a taste for them in their country of origin. So a lot of British people drink cappuccino, don't they, at the wrong time of day. I know in Italy it's a breakfast drink, isn't it? You have a cappuccino, a nice sort of milky coffee with a pastry. But I don't think any self-respecting Italian would drink a cappuccino any time after breakfast. And then there's the galao, which is a taller milky coffee. And I think it's pretty much half and half, but in one of those tall glasses, which looks a little bit like a latte that you might get in a branded coffee corporation, certainly in the UK or America. Then there are some specialities. There's the mazagran, and I can't work out what that is. Maybe you could let me know, but it's in a taller cup with a handle on the side, the mazagran. And then there's a descafeinado, which obviously is a decaffeinated coffee. But why on earth would you do that unless maybe you've got a good medical reason and you just can't give up the flavour? There is the caroca, and I don't know what that is either. And then there is the cheirinho bagaço. And then there is the Cafe Mocha, which I think, again, with its chocolate content, is a little bit of an import. And Portuguese coffee here, the brand Portuguese coffee, trying to extend and excite our palates with that addition. So 15 coffees. How many of those have you had? You can let me know if you like in the comments. I'd be glad to hear from you.